excellent landmass, extremely good people, and tremendous potential for development. There are 53 independent countries in Africa. When you deeply look at it, we have not moved much. We have seen millions of people killed in the last 50 years. There's a continuous epidemic and others who have traveled from the world over, ladies and gentlemen. It's very pleasing to be in Rwanda, representative of the government of Kenya, representatives of NGOs, academia, and others who have traveled from the world over, ladies and gentlemen. It's very pleasing to be opening the third annual meeting of Global Business School Network. I hope those who have come from outside, I think you already had one invitation from Frida, but you will come from outside and have found time or will find time. Please visit our country. It's beautiful, both its scenic views and also its game. I'm honored to speak to you today. There's an acute shortage of management throughout the continent. How can you all assemble here add value by creating better managers to help develop the continent? Most of the continents are developed. Some of them are developing, but Africa is underdeveloped. It is more than underdeveloped. Africa is sitting on huge amount of natural resources, excellent landmass, extremely good people, and tremendous potential for development. There are 53 independent countries in Africa. When you deeply look at it, we have not moved much. We have seen millions of people killed in the last 50 years. There's a continuous unrest, keeping people engaged in unproductive issues for the last 50 years. And it is detriment to the growth of this continent. Africa has remained poor, and the question is, why is it so poor? After having so much of wealth, why is it so poor? Why do majority of Africans, not including this country, but all other countries, go to bed with 1 meal a day? Who is responsible for this? Is it politics? Is it lack of vision? Or is it lack of good management? How can you help remove this poverty, create wealth, and create employment? How can the managers trained under you create a change that can make a difference? I would like to challenge you all so that you can help create a paradigm shift. I'd like you to feel some pain in your hearts to the plight of Africa. Unless you feel that pain, I think your commitment toward the work that you want to do is not good enough. This will need you to create in your students fire in their belly, to think out of the box, to find solutions, to give that little time to worry about the continent and turn the worry into some actions. We cannot make any change unless we can create wealth. Create wealth not for the few, but create wealth which is equitable. To me, it is a challenge. Challenge is becoming successful, but it is more than that. To live in ivory towers is one thing, and to be a part of the solution is another. As Dean of Kellogg Business School, I think we have seen a professor from Kellogg over here, my business school professor Deepak Jain, who is a good friend of mine. I quote, "From success to significance, or rather, the journey from success to significance, because Many of us are successful, but only a few are able to make, or rather, get a chance to make a significant difference to the world we live in. To me, to make a significant difference, mere success is not enough. And many of you are very, very successful people in your own fields. So mere success is not enough. There has to be some kind of a significance attached to it. End of quote. This is my challenge to all of you. You are successful, but that's not enough. How can you become significant in making a difference in Africa? Think of our issues. Think what you can do to improve, to create, to sustain, and transform Africa. Let me give you my example, and I'm not drumming my trumpet. My father came from the state of Gujarat in India to Kenya. Today, Gujarat is the fastest growing state in India. And when my father left, he came from extreme poverty. Having attended 3 standards or 3 vernacular standards in a school, with a dream to earn approximately $100. Today, in today's value, that we can talk about $100, so that he could go back and set up a small shop and look after his family. He secured an employment, 6 months of hard work, from 6 in the morning until midnight, having 3 meals at home, at the home of the employer, and sleeping at night in the shop, opening the roll of what we call as Americani, the grey cloth that time was manufactured in the United States, and a couple of blankets. After 6 months, he gathered some courage to ask his employer, what is my salary? And he received $1 per month and total of $6 for 6 months. This shattered his dreams, but he did not move from his goal. He decided to set up his own shop and called his family members, built a medium-sized business, but a successful business. My mother was illiterate. She started reading and writing in vernacular at the age of 55. My father felt that unless he educated his children, their future would be like his. During my mid-40s, 4 younger members of my family, including me, were sent to the university in Mumbai. After our graduation, my brother and me were sent to United States. My brother went to Berkeley, while I went to Oklahoma University to study petroleum engineering. After a semester, I felt, why petroleum engineering? There is no petrol, oil in East Africa. What am I doing here? I changed to mechanical engineering and I did my master's. When we came back, we had a manufacturing plant employing 40 people, producing aluminum pots and pans. I was a second engineer. At that time, I felt off and on, what am I doing here? Should I run this small plant or I take a cozy job? My attachment during my college time to the Gandhian philosophy came in handy. I thought about my family, their sacrifices, their ambitions, their dreams. How could I think otherwise? My brother and I joined the business and earnestly started to help the family to create a better and a bigger base. In 5 years' time, we had 500 people working. Immediately after that, East African countries became independent. As a major provider of aluminum pots and pans to all the neighboring countries, we were advised that each country where we operate, selling our products, would expect us to have a small share of investments in manufacturing activities. We did not lose time and appointed and opened up in Bujumbura. At that time it was Belgium Congo, Tanzania, it was Tanganyika at that time, Zambia, Uganda, and Ethiopia. In 15 years of my generation joining the business, we became a regional manufacturer. As time passed, the younger members of my family, and two of them with an MBA from Harvard, joined the business. The family decided that some family members should move to United Kingdom and Europe to set up a base outside Africa. We started with acquiring a couple of businesses in United Kingdom and one in Switzerland, subsequently to Singapore and Canada. In Africa, we acquired and built new investments, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, and Ghana. And in 30 years, we are already manufacturing in 25 countries. Today, we are in 45 countries, involved in all kinds of manufacturing. From Papua New Guinea, Australia, New Zealand, China, India, South America, USA, Canada, and most of the countries in Europe. This was all possible because of good education and a vision, a desire to become something. What I mentioned earlier, a fire in the belly. There is the perception that Africa can only depend on aid. Africa needs charity. No, that is wrong. You can run a good business, you can make decent profits, and take my family's example. From a plant with 40 people, we are today having 40,000 people working throughout the world. Why am I giving this example of my family? Not to beat the drums, because I want you to emphasize over and over again to you and to your students that the destiny of this continent is in their hands. It is necessary in Africa that we place business first and politics second. This requires leadership. Leadership which beyond one's nose, which sees beyond one's nose and dreams of something which on the face of it is not possible. Leaders who would go deep into the issues, own the issues, find solutions, create growth. You are the people who are going to create these leaders. Our young people are second to none in their ability, their brilliance, and their capacity. If they get the best management education, to the academia, I would say most of you are successful, you have life going good for you. How can you add significance to this success and build the management cadre of these countries? Your indulgence in molding our young people will make a difference. They need focused attention in all aspects of management to give them a new vision, new direction, new skills, and sharpen them to develop them in them the right choices, to see the choices of responsibility, and to make sure that the countries they come from moves forward. All the representatives who have come down from the business schools from outside, what we call in our businesses a corporate social responsibility. I'd like you to put these messages back into your business schools, that you also have some kind of a social responsibility of accepting people from African continent, 10, 15, 20, whatever you can do, at a reasonable cost. They cannot afford high cost. And see that you help Africa develop itself. It is doable. It is a matter of thinking about a continent which needs management more than anything else. With 2/3 of the world's population poor, some very poor, let me re-emphasize that your involvement in creating better management cadre will make a significant difference in their lives. And I hope you'll be able to be a party to that. Thank you for listening to me.
But let's see if there are any questions at this point. We have
very stimulating to your presentation. And what I like most about your presentation is that you gave an example of your country. You are able to identify the African problem from an African perspective. My question is that you moved from Gujarat and to Kenya. Do you think moving from Gujarat to Kenya contributed to your success? And if that is so, would you encourage Africans to move from Africa and go elsewhere so that they can be equally successful? Thank you.
I think moving where possibilities are to make the best of your career, the best that you can provide for your children, is where you should go. It cannot be one place. My father came over here because he was extremely poor. And if you are extremely poor today, at least Kenya, I think we send out about $1 billion every year from overseas who are working outside. So to me, it's not that you got to go outside. If you want to go outside, go ahead. I've not gone outside, I stayed here. I can have a home. I have a home in London. I can have a home in Geneva. I can have my son lives in Singapore. But commitments are something which you should be. To me, I'm more African as much as you are, because I was born here, I bred up over here, and what I have belongs, what I got from here is this country. So to me, it's not an issue. Where you can the most, yes, but today, Africa needs most of the support. If we want to bring that continent up to somewhere, it could be recognizable. Today, we are so low that it's impossible to recognize. That's why I would suggest, if I would be you, I'd spend as much as I spend time in this country to trying to help this country and the areas, not in this country only, 15 countries in Africa where we operate. Because we think that there is a reason over here, and there is a reason that we should be here.